Gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
How are we feeling this morning? Are we good? Good. So let's take a comfortable seat. Let's take our left hand onto our heart space, right hand just lower than the navel, and just allow the shoulder blades to drop down the back. You feel the weight of the shoulder blades dropping, and you feel the length of the neck, the ears extending away from the top of the shoulders. And sit nice and comfortably here. We don't need to be too rigid in this easy posture. We want to be firm yet relaxed. And begin to center yourself. Begin to anchor yourself to your mat, to your practice for this morning through the breath, breathing in and out of the nostrils. And allow that breath to travel to the palms of your hands. You almost feel the breath traveling through the body, traveling through the skin, into the fingertips, into the palms, sending warmth. And you feel the inhalation expanding the body, and the exhalation releasing and letting go. Our practice today will be centered around the upper body. So upper body movement, mobility, finding a little bit of strength, a little bit of flexibility. That means all of the upper body, from the torso, the shoulders, the upper back, the chest, a little bit into the wrists. So just now feel your upper body. Sense the awareness of how the upper body feels after your night's sleep, after a night of rest. And just notice any of those tight, tense areas, and direct the breath to those. Before you begin your day, take some time to plan the way you want your day to go. Allow your mind to focus on this intention and visualize how you can incorporate it today. See yourself as you want to act, respond, and communicate. And as your day progresses, remind yourself of your intention. An intention can be a guidepost for each day. If you feel off course, remember your vision and act, respond, or communicate from that guidepost. Releasing the hands from the body, taking the backs of the hands to the knees, palms face up. Just feel the warmth in the fingertips, the palms of your hands. Still feel the touch where you have left that imprint of your own hands, your own caring hands. Wiggle the fingers, start to bring some movement back into the fingertips, stretching, flexing and creating a fist. Move into the wrists. So again, you can flex, rotate. It's all about freedom of movement. So just notice how the wrists respond. Interlace the fingers here. Get the heels of the palms together so that you can start to create a little figure of 8. So really moving that figure of 8. The thumbs tend to take the initial direction, and then you turn it the other way, and the heels of the hands take the direction. Good. Try to keep those heels together, just moving the wrists. Try not to move too much else. Yeah, a bit tricky coordination. And release, pressing the knuckles away, stretch into the palms. Or push them away. Oh, that's a big stretch. And then the other way. And then bring them back, and a little bit of release there into the fingers. And go the other way, break dancing. Good. Give the fingers a shake. Lifting the arms up, big stretch. Reach away. Lift the shoulders up towards the ears. Feel the sides of the body stretching, stretching, stretching all the way to the fingertips. And then draw the shoulder blades down. So you create that space. You can start to pull the shoulder blades down, keeping the palms together if you can. If not, palms are facing one another. And then lift up towards the ears. Big stretch. And then dropping shoulder blades down, still feeling the lift into the side body. Nice. Release down. Let's come into butterfly. So if you're not already in butterfly, you might be in cross leg. Let's make it a little bit more symmetrical. So let's get into some pelvic tilts and some cat and cows. So dropping spine and then little back bend. Dropping the belly back, chin to chest, and little back bend as you press the chest forward. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, lifting. Scooping the belly, and then lengthening the belly. Twice more, exhale. And inhale. And just notice all of the parts of your spine, your pelvis working here. Bring yourself back into center. Lift the right arm up and over. Try to keep that lift into the side body. You're not collapsing as you reach over. And then here, just roll the ribcage open and fold the ribcage towards that thigh. So you're rolling open, taking the gaze up to the hand if the neck feels comfortable, and then rolling and looking down. So it's a little bit of a wave with the hands, but it's more about the side of the body opening and releasing. Again, breath-led. Inhale, the expansion and the opening. Exhale, the release and the closing. And then last time, just come to stay and hold, lifting up, reaching over. Try to keep grounded through both sit bones. You're really pulling that opposite side down, lifting up and over. Good. And then bring yourself back into center. Lift up the arm on the inhale. Exhale over. You're grounding through both sit bones and then releasing. Exhale, dropping head towards the knee, opening up, expanding the chest and the rib cage. So find the breath, exhaling, release. And you want to feel that your side body, your rib cage, and the spine are moving as one. Everything is nice and smooth, breath-led movement. Last time, we open it up and we hold that lateral stretch, reaching over, exhaling. Keep rounding that ribcage back behind you. Keep lifting through the side body. Feel comfortable. Never have to kind of overforce anything. And then bring yourself back into center. Good. Let's take a rotational twist, but this time with the knees parallel. So here, particularly when we take a rotational twist, what tends to happen is you'll twist and that back knee will start to shoot forward. So if you have a block handy, that does help to stabilize the knees because you're gripping the block in between the thighs. So if you don't have a block, it's okay, but we're sitting nice and tall on the sit bones. We're using that hand and we're going to switch from side to side. So it's inhale, and then exhale into the rotation. Inhale, center. Exhale into the rotation on the opposite side. Breathe into center. Get that back of the forearm over the knee. Inhale into center. You're starting to really start to feel the core, the sides of the body as you rotate. Exhale into the twist. Good. Opening up the chest. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. And the next time we just stay on whatever side you land in. Breathing in, breathing out. Change the gaze for a moment. Look forward. Look at your knees. Open up the chest to the side, but look over the front shoulder. Relax the shoulders down away from the ears and see if you can take that back hand off and take it into a little bind. So the bind comes round to take hold of that left or right thigh, opening up. Then change the gaze if it's comfortable towards the back shoulder. Lifting up and breathing. Again, you want to be comfortable here. We don't want to be forcing anything. We're still just warming up. Nice and slowly release the bind, release the hands. Take it to the other side. So gaze looks forward over the front shoulder. You open up the chest to the side. Take the gaze to the back shoulder. Release the hand if you like. Taking that bind, it comes into the hip. And you use that hip as a little bit of leverage again. Breathing in to lengthen, breathing out, deepening. Bringing back into the center. And just release the block away. Swing the legs around behind you. Let's come into tabletop position. So finding our position for the wrists, the hands and the elbows here. So taking a look at the hands down there. If you find that you have a really deep flexion into the wrist and it's uncomfortable, you might want to take the hands a little bit forward. And if it's still a bit too deep, then using a blanket to just lift up the heel of the hands makes that a little bit easier. Notice if the wrists are underneath the shoulders or a little bit further forward. And now rotate the ulna here. So bringing the eye of the elbow, pushing it forward, and then rotating and pulling the eye of the elbow in. So you'll see that, I can get the eye of that elbow all the way facing forward, and then I rotate and I can pull it back, depending on your flexibility. And this comes from the wrist and this bone moving here. So find the most comfortable place where that likes to sit. Mine likes to sit forward, but I try and get the eye of the elbow to face one another. Let's have those rounds of cat and cow now. Inhaling for your cow, dropping through the belly, lifting sit bones. Exhaling, rounding, dropping into chest. So find that focus through the breath. As soon as you finish the breath, you have this momentary pause of nothingness before You either inhale or exhale and initiate the movement again. So you're always moving. Nice and slowly. Release back to neutral. Find the neutral posture. And then flip the hands on the inside. So wrist extensor stretch. You might bring the knees a little bit closer, but the hands are facing for you. You're taking the backs of the hands down. This is your extensor stretch here. And then trying to keep all 10 of those fingers and thumbs down. Start to bring the weight back. Keep the back of the hand down as much as you can. Maybe the elbows bend out to the side. Notice if you start to try and stretch the elbows, stretching the arms, how does that relate to the wrists and the fingers? You might feel stretch going all the way down through the finger joints. Nice. Nice and slowly release, peel the fingers off, and then just gently circle. So notice how the wrists respond to that one. Good. Let's do this one where we bring the fingers in towards one another. Let me face this way. So fingers are in and we bend the elbows out and then straighten the elbows in. So you're bending the elbows directly out. Little press ups, nice. And then turn the wrists the other way so the fingertips face outwards. Again, this is where the eye of the elbow really does face forward. Try to bring the eye of the elbow in. Little rotation there. And then flip the palms again the other way. So fingertips are facing you this time. And now start to pull the weight back towards, weight back towards the heels without pulling the heel of the hands away. Try to keep the hand all the way down. Oh, that's a big stretch. Spreading the fingers as much as you can. You can feel that stretch probably going all the way up the inner arm. And release. Peel the fingers off. Good work. That's your wrists a little bit warmer. Give them a shake. Good. Let's come into heart pose. So, fingertips slide forward. Hips stay high above the knees. And you can melt the chest down. You can use the head on a block or the chin or the head on the mat. Try to keep all 10 toes connected so the feet aren't rolling inwards. You're pressing into the tops of the feet. Melting, melting, melting. And just notice where you feel the tightness here. Nice and slowly, we're going to come forward onto the forearms. So maybe bringing the elbows in line with the shoulders, keeping the knees down for a moment. Nice little forearm plank. So you've got a neutral spine here. We're not dropping the belly too much and arching or rounding and broadening across the shoulders. You're pushing away through the palms, forearms, and elbows, keeping the chest nice and open. If you wish here, you can tuck the toes. Coming into your full forearm plank, you just tuck the toes and lift the knees. So the heels, hips, and forearms are all in the same line. So we're not too high. We're not into dolphin or anything like that. We're not on a high plank. Nice low forearm plank. Push back through the heels, nice and slowly, keeping the toes tucked. Drop the hips. Come into Sphinx. And then release the toes. And you're in your Sphinx pose. So glutes are engaged. Lengthening through the body from the lower abdominals all the way up to the heart space, up to the chest. And just try to relax into the pelvis and the hips. Let them become heavy. Keep the chest nice and open. You're pushing away from the mat. Nice and slowly widen the elbows and roll down. Take that moment in your prone posture where you're not doing anything at all. Big toes come together, heels fall out to the side, and you just sway the hips a little bit from side to side, softening into the glutes. Bring the feet back into the position that's more comfortable. So either wide of the mat or feet together. It's more challenging when the big toes touch. I tend to take them a little bit about hip width. We're going to bring the arms back to the sides of your ribs as if we were preparing for cobra. So we want to tuck the elbows in towards the ribs and we want to draw the elbows back so that the fingertips are just resting there. You're not pushing into the mat or anything. They're resting there. And then roll the shoulders. So you roll them up towards the ears and you roll them back. Your chest is slightly lifted away from the mat. You're lengthening the crown of your head away. Not too much weight goes into those hands. You could take them off and you could still do the roll. Try that. Keeping those elbows tucked in towards the body and pulling back towards the hips. This time the hands come down to the rib cage. You're going to push up into a nice low cobra. Shoulder blades are pulling down the back. They're spreading. Elbows tucking in. Now take the hands off. See if you can hold the cobra without the hands. Keep lifting through the abdominals, using the spinal extensors to keep the strength in the back bend. Keep the legs strong, feet pressing down. Release the hands and then release to the cheek. Hands come back to the hips, palms face up. So just round the shoulders there, relax everything, let go. Sweep the hands around and place them just on the side of your mat by the side of your head. These are dancing cobras. So you start to do a little circle up and circle around. So do 3 or 4 on one side. So you're extending to the side of the mat, lifting up, extending to the opposite side, and then coming down. And if you prefer to be on flat palms, you can do that too. Doesn't have to be fingertips. Nice. So breathing in as you lift up, breathing out as you lower down. Circle the other way. At the sides of the body, working the waist. And nice and slowly, bring the head down, turn to the opposite cheek once more, and hands come back by the side of your body, palms face up. Let's take a locust pose here. Maybe the feet come together or maybe they're a little bit wider, hip width. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Push the heels of the hands together if you can. And then push the knuckles down towards the heels as you lift the upper body. Press into the tops of the feet. We're just coming into half locust. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. If you prefer to let the heels of the hands go, you can do that as you open up the palms. Keep pushing the knuckles away, pulling the shoulder blades down the back. And then if you like, you can start to lift the legs. So you're bringing the knuckles to the heels, heels to the knuckles. Nice. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then release. Whoa, head comes down to the back of the hands. Sway out. Let's come on to our side for side seal. So I'm going to go on my left side, but you can choose. Now, side seal, you can use your forearm down like that if you prefer. Legs might be straight, but make sure that the legs are nicely in line with the hips, or the legs might be bent. It's an option for you. Or there's the option of side seal with your hand. So it's like a side plank. So we're going to hold 3 or 4 breaths. I prefer the forearm variation. Legs can be bent or straight. I know, a little bit of strength. And then change straight away to the other side. I'm just going to show you those variations that you can choose. Legs straight, legs bent on the forearm. You're lifting the hip away from the mat or coming up into that side plank. Pushing away from the mat, making sure that you're strong through that supporting arm or wrist. Bring back into the center, lower the knees, take a wide leg child's pose. Release back, and you might just bring the head onto the hands as you widen the elbows out to the side. Take a moment there, because depending on which option you chose, you might find that was quite a strong pose. Feel the skin stretching over the spine. Feel the hips releasing back towards the heels. Slow down the heart rate. Focus back onto your breath. Bringing the hands towards the knees, keeping the chin towards the chest as you gently and slowly roll up through the spine, bringing the knees together and coming into kneeling. Reverse prayer variations are optional here. So the hands sweep back behind you. You might just bring the hands onto the sacrum here. You might just take hold of the elbows. We're trying to open up the chest and the shoulders. If you're coming into reverse prayer with the fingertips and the palms together, they nestle between the shoulder blades. And then the spine is nice and long here. So shoulders drop down, elbows are nice and wide. You're opening the chest without flaring the rib cage, choosing an option that works for you. Let's sit here for 10 breaths. And release the hands down. Bring the hands to the knees, palms face up. Just feel that response as you've released the hands, because if you were in that reverse prayer, there's quite a lot of pressure that goes into the wrists there. Even if you were holding onto the wrists or the elbows, you still feel something into the shoulders, the opening of the chest. And if you spend a bit of time at laptops, at desks, we're on our phone, we're always kind of hunching over. Whereas reverse prayer just opens up the chest. It allows the heart space to be open as well. So give the wrists a little circle, release out. Nice, good. So let's come into a downward facing dog. We're not going to do much standing work today. So finding the position of the hands, spreading the fingers as much as you can, tucking the toes, keeping the bent knees, chest and belly come back to the thighs as you start to lift the hips and the head comes down to the mat. Keep nice soft knees, really drop into the the knees, pressing the chest back towards the thighs as much as you can. You're folding from the hips here, so you're drawing in through the abdomen, and just notice how your shoulders are feeling. So pulling the shoulders away from the ears, they're drawing down the back, and then just pedal out one leg after the other, releasing the Achilles. That's why we're not doing too much standing work, because it's mainly upper body stuff today. I want you to feel the strength here in your down dog, and then when both feet feel ready to release, press back. Find a steady breath. Calm mind, calm the breath, calm through the posture. And then lower the knees. Bring your arms down in front of you onto the forearms. I'm going to come into a little dolphin. So whether you have your dolphin in forearm style like this, like a forearm plank, or you might interlace the fingers, which would be your headstand variation. Choose one or the other, and then we'll try the other way. So let's try the interlaced version first. And then we're going to tuck the toes as if we were coming into that downward facing dog. Keep nice bent knees for the moment. Tilt the head downwards towards the mat. The head stays off of the mat. You're lengthening the neck, pulling the shoulders away. And then start walking the feet in towards the body. You're starting to bring the hips up towards the sky. Shoulders above the elbows. Pressing away through the mat, through the elbows, the forearms, and the hands. Draw in through the abdomen, doing great, fantastic. Breathing, strong posture, I know. And then release the knees down, child's pose, and bring the hands back behind you as the head comes down. So we'll take the other variation now, which is on the forearm, so it's a little bit stronger for the shoulders. Making sure that the fingertips track in line with the arm bone and the elbow comes underneath the shoulders again. So fingertips reach forward and are spread. Shoulder width, tucking toes, keeping knees bent, drawing chest in towards the thighs, lifting the head away from the mat, pushing away, and then walking the feet in. I think much more challenging. So be strong through the whole shoulder girdle, pushing away through the mat, walking the feet in, getting those hips above the shoulders, shoulders above elbows. Breathe, nice work. And slowly lower the knees when you're ready. Release back to child's pose, hands come back behind you. Fantastic. Roll up through the spine. Let's come into eagle arms. So you can take this kneeling, you can take this seated if you like, you can kneel over a bolster. Actually, I think I might do that. Might kneel over my bolster. You can sit on a block. So first of all, we take the arms out, Indiana Jones, flexing into the wrists, holding those walls away from us, drawing those fingertips back, crossing over the left arm on top of the right, and then releasing into your eagle. So whether it's the single or the double bind, start to lift the elbows, drawing the shoulders down, softening through the rib cage, and the fingertips reach up towards the sky. You're long through the spine. Focus is at the back of the wrist, or you close the eyes and that inner gaze. Keep working through the posture here, noticing what comes up. Lift the elbows, draw shoulders down, neck is long. Nice and slowly unravel, release. Indiana Jones, pressing out. Crossing right arm over left, folding and finding the single or the double wrap. Lift elbows up. So you're trying to get the elbows nicely in line with the shoulder, drawing shoulder blades down, gazes at the back of the wrist. Softening through the rib cage. You want to knit the rib cage in towards so that it's not flaring or poking out, and the spine is nice and long. Slowly release. Indiana Jones, push them away. And then circle. Wow, the shoulders. Nice. Your shoulders feel okay? Good. Let's come into a little bit of forward folding here. Swinging the legs out in front of you. And just wiggle the flesh away from the sit bones. Reaching the arms up. And exhale. Reach over and long. Imagine those fingertips are going way past the toes, and they might come down to the toes or the ankles or the shins. You might use a strap. Give yourself that little wiggle. Lengthen the spine once more on your inhale, and then exhale. Take your time to get into postures. Drawing those elbows in towards the center line, softening through the head and the neck, releasing into the spine. Releasing into the hamstrings here. So, we haven't done any leg stuff here, so go easy here. If you feel tight in the hamstrings, just bend and soften the knees just a little bit, drawing the belly back towards the spine. Use each exhale to release a little bit more. Rolling up through the spine. Bring yourself back up to seated. Let's take the hands by the side of us, staff pose in Dandasana, sitting nice and tall, elbows tuck in once more. So you feel the length of the spine, you feel the length of the sides of the body. The hands are pushing down a little bit. Some people lift up in this posture. I can't do that. And just draw the elbows back. We're going to come into either an upward facing tabletop or an upward facing plank. So maybe the hands come back behind you. If you can have the fingertips facing forward, you can try that. If not, turn them out just a little bit. Maybe you prefer them going back, but this is where we would like to be. Upward facing tabletop, you're going to keep the knees over the ankles. So if we're lifting up the hips, knees go forward. That's your upward facing tabletop or a crab variation. And if you're in that upward facing plank, toes point down to the mat. You're looking along the body, opening up the chest. We're not sinking here. Lifting, pushing. Good. Breathe. A little bit of strength needed. I know. It's deep into the wrists. Choose the variation that works for you. Lift the hips. Fantastic. Breathe and smile. Almost done on the hard work. Nice and slowly release down. Come off the wrist. Give them a little love. Give them a little massage. They've served you well. Good. So let's come down onto our backs, and having a block or a bolster handy by the side of you. So rolling down nice and slowly, drawing the knees in towards the chest, making sure that if you've got a ponytail, I have, that it's not right at the back of your skull, so that it prevents you from getting that nice long neck there. And then just softly release into the spine here. So we've done a number of twists, rotations through the spine, the side stretches, your side plank, your lateral stretches, your forward folds, your back extensions. Really feel the spine lengthening underneath you. Arms come out to the side of you, palms face up, shoulder height. You're going to use those as your anchors. Spread the shoulder blades, keeping the knees and the feet tightly connected. We're going to roll from side to side using the core muscles, front, back, and side. So exhaling, knees go over to the right. You're rolling onto the right hip. Try to keep that left shoulder blade anchored. Feet might touch, knees might touch, depends. And then breathe in, bring it back into the center. Exhale, go over to the other side. Keep the feet, the knees together. Good. Keep that right shoulder blade anchored. Breathe in. Let's do it twice more, right and left. Exhale on the effort. Inhale as you come back in. And maybe each time you're going over, you're feeling that you're getting a little bit deeper and the knees come a little bit closer. Good. Last time, come back into center. Take the hands up onto the knees and lift the head. So you're going to curl into a tight ball, as tight as you can. So thighs compress into the abdomen, into the chest. You lift the head and the shoulders. Curl the head towards the knees. Notice the breath here. You're compressing every part of the body that wants to be able to expand and breathe. So still try and have that deep breath in. And the exhale, you pull a little closer. Nice and slowly, release. Arms come down, excuse me, by the side of you, palms face down. And you're going to take the legs into a 90-degree bend here. So this is a little bit of core work. We're going to toe tap, right foot down, and then bring the knee back up into that 90 degrees. So what we want to happen is you're drawing down the abdominals, drawing the navel towards the spine as you lower the left toe and it comes back up to meet the right knee. So right toe down, bring it back up. Left toe down, bring it back up. Notice that you've still got that 90-degree bend into the hips and the knees. Your spine is long. You're not taking any tension into the face, into the neck. Exhale on the effort. Inhale as you bring the knee in. Keep drawing lower back down. Singles at the moment. You're going to go for doubles in a moment. Last single right. Last single left. Doubles. Both toes come down. Lift. Both toes down. Lift. Never bring the knees back past the hips. They only come up to the hips. Keep that navel pulling in. Nice. Few more. And draw the knees in. Well done. Give yourself a roll out. Circle one way and the other. Taking the legs and the arms up towards the sky, dead bug pose. Legs might be straight. You might have a soft bend into the knee. Looking up towards the fingers, looking up towards the toes. Lift the shoulders away from the mat. Reach the fingers as if someone's pulling your fingers away from you and they're pulling your shoulders away from the mat. You're going to pull the middle and the upper back into the mat and then spread the shoulder blades, pulling the shoulder down, still reaching up with the fingers. Good. Do that twice more. Lift up, round the spine, round the shoulder blades. Keep reaching the fingers as you spread the shoulder blades down to the mat. Lift up. And bring them down. Close the eyes here in dead bug for a moment. Feel the lightness of the legs and the arms. Drop the weight into the hips, the torso, and the shoulders. Circle wrists and ankles. Palms come together, toes touch. You're going to lower the legs, lower the arms. Arms come back behind the head. Legs go down towards the end of the mat. You're going to try and land the feet at the same time as the arms. Draw the navel in. Draw the spine back. Fantastic. Big, big stretch. Reach the arms away, reach the toes away. And then take a moment just resting in Shavasana. Soften everything out. Soles of the feet come in, bending the knees, pelvic tilts, and bridge pose. So just a few pelvic tilts. Lifting pubic bone. And then curling tailbone under. It's like a reclined cat and cow. Pushing into the feet, pushing into the hands. Lift the hips. Send the knees forward, coming into bridge pose. Engaging the glutes. You might interlace the fingers here and roll the shoulders underneath you, pushing the knuckles down. Long neck here. Try not to turn the head or the neck when you're in these inverted poses like bridge, shoulder stand, or halasana. Slowly release the hands and roll down, shoulders, upper back, middle back, lower back. Draw knees in, roll and massage out. Arms come out to the side of you once more. Drop the left foot down to the mat, right leg comes over. Reclined supine twist here. And both legs might be bent, both legs might be straight. You can choose the option that you want to do in this reclined twist here. But it's more important that the chest is opening up towards the sky and you're anchoring through your right shoulder blade. So you're not lifting up that right arm. It's pulling you downwards. You can choose the option of the straight or the bent-legged option. Breathing in, bring back into center. Realign hips and pelvis, and then take it to the other side. Again, extending the right leg, either bent or straight, and taking the left leg across the body, supporting that leg either with a hand or a strap, anchoring through left shoulder blade, opening up the chest and the heart up towards the sky. Breathe in, bring yourself back into center, realign hips and pelvis, take the feet wide, knees drop in towards one another, and bring the hands down onto the belly. Take a moment's rest. We've got how many? 1 or 2 postures left. First one is pontoon. So if you've got a bolster, it's obviously way more comfortable, but you can use a block either on the medium level, lowest or the medium level. I'm going to go medium. High is quite high for pontoon. It's basically an extended bridge. So you're going to place the block or the bolster underneath your sacrum. So make sure that that is nice and comfortable there. It's much, much harder on a cork block than it is a foam block as well. And you might relax the arms back behind you in cactus. And then you extend the legs along the mat, trying to release as much as you can of the weight into the hips and the pelvis. So this is a stretch into the front of the legs, front of the hips, front of the psoas, intercostal muscles, abdominals, and the rib cage and the shoulders. Soften everything here. Relax the glutes, relax sphincter. Try and allow all of the weight to drop into that prop, whether it's the bolster or the block. Bringing the hands back down by the side of you, bringing the feet back. Take a moment just in that supported bridge. You feel the pelvis change position. Lifting hips, taking block away or bolster, and rolling down nice and slowly. Just allow the recovery from that pontoon. If it's a posture that you've not done before, you might feel that it's quite a back opener. It's a passive back extension, using gravity, circling the knees in towards the chest and rolling and massaging out. Last one is banana asana. So we're going to take it right and left, shifting the shoulders and the arms to the right side. Legs go to the right, and you might cross over that left foot across the right ankle. So opening up through the left side of the body in this banana shape. You're feeling the side stretch all the way, probably from the ankle right up through the outer leg, outer hip, outer waist, outer rib cage, armpit. It's important to get all of those movements of the spine into your day, rotations, twists, lateral stretches, side bends, forward folds, and back extensions. Bringing the arms, the head, the shoulders back in towards the center. Release the arms by the side as you release the left foot. Take a moment to breathe in Shavasana. Lifting up the arms, shuffling shoulders and head to the left corner of your mat, moving that right foot towards the left, maybe even crossing it over the ankle. So we're in a nice little crescent shape here. Trying to get the shoulders flat on the mat, buttocks are flat on the mat. If you were to look at yourself from above, you would see that you would be in this nice crescent moon shape. Similar to those standing crescent side bends that we do in the lunar salutation. We did those last week. That's what it would look like standing. Breathing out any remaining tightness in that right side of the body. Bringing hands, shoulders and head back into the center. Realign, release that right foot. Exhale into Shavasana. Now let's just stay there now for our final few moments of practice. Unless you need to make yourself warm or more comfortable. This is your final relaxation. Taking a deep breath in, a deep sigh out. Bring some movement into the fingers, into the wrists, into the toes, into the ankles. Starting to draw right and left knee in towards the chest as you roll out through the spine. Taking your time to roll over to one side as you gently bring yourself up to that comfortable seat once more. Bringing the hands into Anjali Mudra at heart center, lifting the elbows up to the side as you press the palms together. Taking a moment to now feel how your upper body has responded and how it reacted through the practice of mobility and movement, flexibility and strength. And just return back to that reading at the beginning of our practice, finding that intention to guide post you through the day, always returning to that intention and how you act, respond, or communicate from that guidepost. Always thanking yourself for showing up on your mat, thanking the body and the breath, and I thank you. Namaste.